Okay, this is the moment of truth. I've just taken the practice written test, and full disclosure, I did take it before and did not pass, and I was really embarrassed about that. So the first time I got a computer, it was those really, really big ass computers, like prehistoric, jumbo size, looks like a box, and she had a huge ass. And it was a compact 98 computer. And I remember the day I got it, my sisters and I ran to the living room. My dad bought it for us. This was a time where the only thing I was interested in was playing games. That's pretty much it. There was like Microsoft Word, and I believe, yes, of course, we had AOL. I'm laughing because at that time you had to connect it to the telephone, and every time somebody would call, the connection will fall. And there was this one specific game that I was really heavily obsessed with, and that game was called Midtown Madness. It was essentially a car game, if I remember correctly, and basically in the game you can either race other cars or you can pick a city and drive around the city. It was kind of like a GTA, but not with the violence. Specifically because even when I would run over people or holes and things, they were just like, the people would be like, oh my god, or like these noises or whatever, but there was no blood or guns or anything like that. I was just so obsessed with this game, and I think that's what started my fascination with cars. Also, and I guess this has a lot to do with it, my father, one of his longest jobs was to be a chauffeur in a private limousine company. So my dad has always been obsessed with cars, and I'm pretty sure that's where I got it as well. But I just remember playing all these different games and getting addicted to winning and going as fast as I can, and it was such a happy place for me. And since then, going to school or being in other people's cars, the first thing that naturally I would do was watch how people would drive, the gas pedal, and what the different buttons were in a car, and ask questions and just observe streets and different signs that they were, and why are we driving on one side and not the other side. Things like that was always something that I really was interested when I was younger. I'm talking, I was like 7-8 years old at this time, maybe even 12, I'm not entirely sure, but cars has always been something I really wanted to do. So growing up, obviously, when people would ask me what I wanted to be when I grew up, still trying to figure that out, to be honest, but one of the careers that I had in mind when I was younger, because it felt right, it felt like something that I really enjoyed, was to become a NASCAR driver. Then during middle school, I think, is when kind of that dream died a bit, where usually most dreams go to die. Because at the same time, I also really wanted to be a ballerina and a professional ice skater for that matter. I realized that becoming a NASCAR driver was something that did not, unfortunately, had the know-how what to do next to make those dreams reality. So that was a dream of mine that I kept pretty much to myself for a very long time. And I think not until a few months ago, actually, that I realized that there is a woman being like this such cool kick-ass driver. She does racing, and it kind of like ignited the passion that I had for driving. And growing up in New York, you necessarily don't need a driver's license to get around, so I never really thought about it, but it was always a dream of mine to own a car and to drive. And about 4 months ago, I decided that before the year ended, one of my goals every year was to take the permits test. And every year that went by, I was always really scared that maybe this dream wasn't going to complete. I don't know what reason, but something in my gut was keeping me for not succeeding in this dream of mine. And the negativity went in, and fear usually stops you from attempting what could be a really good thing. So I weighed out my pros and cons, and the biggest pro for me is to have the freedom to go wherever I want to go. And it's quite difficult to get around in Los Angeles, where I live now. So a car would help me so much. Thus to say that sometimes the universe just helps you out. And I was toying with the idea of like not letting this year pass me by without at least attempting. So one thing I guess you will not know about me is that I am horrified of taking tests. I really in school never felt like I was able to succeed at test taking because my nerves got the best of me. So thinking about taking a written test to drive really holded me back. So I did what usually every single person who's about to take a test does, and study. So I studied and I studied and I studied, and I did it different this time because I used to study and then scare myself of not taking the test and use any excuse that I can find to not take it. But I did something different this year, and that was that I told every single person that I would talk with, my friends, my family, the neighbor, my agents, anybody that would ask me how was I doing or what projects I was working on. This is something that I would bring up all the time. Oh, I'm learning how to drive, about to take the permit test, but I am just currently studying. But yeah, I'm on my way to getting a car. And that kind of kept me accountable of me taking the test, to be honest, because I would chicken out and not take it. But now that everybody knew, or at least most of the people knew, then when I see them again, they would ask me, how's it going with the test? And the pure embarrassment of just thinking about if they ask me and I go, oh, well, yeah, I still haven't taken it, knowing that most of my friends drive and do have cars, gave me that motivation to do it. And I know that sounds, funny to say out loud and maybe a little embarrassing that I had to put myself in that situation, but it got me to a place of like dedication, like full dedication. I'm doing it for myself, and I'm also doing it so I'm not embarrassed when people ask me and then I don't know how to answer. So I took it upon myself to study. And the way I did it was kind of funny because I overstudied. I went to dmvpracticetest.com or something like that it's called, and took all of their practice tests. I think they have like 43 of them, and I took pretty much all of them. I would do like 2 or 3 a day, up until I basically memorized every single question that I could get asked on this test. I also downloaded the DMV practice test app on my phone. So when I was in a taxi or when I was waiting for something for that matter, I would go ahead and practice. I'm pretty sure I did that for about 2 months or so. But it was the only thing that would help me feel at ease that I was doing everything that I could to prepare myself for this grand test. I wanted to give you the prelogue because I'm about to embark on a journey of what it truly means to go into the process of getting a car that is customized to your needs and to drive the safest. I know that the ability to drive, it is something that I take very seriously. It's something that is very dangerous to, to have that responsibility of being safe yourself, but also being safe for other people and driving as safe as possible. And I am not like the average person. I can't just go into a dealership and pick a car and leave. I need a car that has enough space for me, but also has the tools that I need so I can drive as safely as possible. So I'm gonna embark in this journey, and you're gonna come with me because I don't think I can do it by myself. So we are gonna go on this journey. I feel confident in taking this test. I know I'm gonna do really well. And I'm meeting a friend tomorrow, and then I'm gonna take the test, and it's gonna be great. So it's been a very long journey for me, and something that I can easily get extremely emotional. And I think that sometimes I feel like all odds are against me. If you lead with fear, you're not gonna go anywhere. But I do my best to not lead with fear. And it's been a dream of mine to drive. And I want to at least say that I've tried to do so. So you're gonna come with me on this trip, and I'm really excited to do that. Wait, this is the full look. Yes, we are ready to go. So I just took the test. It was a little longer than I anticipated. I believe I only got 4 wrong, which means that is an automatic pass, but we will see now if I